So if you spend hours at your desk and your wrist starts to really feel it, you might want to see this. So let's go over the Transformers vertical ergonomic mouse. I'm going to cover all the different features, show you how the screen and knob work, and talk about who this is really for, all to help you make a better informed buying decision. And there's one feature on this I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. Okay, so let's do an unboxing here. This guy's got a nice little protective plastic over the mouse, which is nice. And of course we have the mouse itself. First impressions are, it looks really nice, feels good, very light. Then we have the instruction manual, and then troubleshooting and an FAQ card. Okay, so this is a vertical ergonomic mouse with a built-in LED screen and a control knob on top. So it connects via 2.4 gigahertz wireless or dual Bluetooth. It's rechargeable with a 500 mAh battery, and it's designed for right-handed use with a 57-degree tilt angle. So let's have a closer look at the mouse itself. So the first thing you notice is the Transformers branding here. And this does look really cool on your desk, having this. The build quality is solid here. It's about 3.6 ounces, so it's just really light. I would say it's lighter than it looks. And of course we have the LCD screen on top. So let's go over some of the key features. So one of the main selling points here is of course the 57-degree tilt angle that you have. And what this means is your hand sits more in a natural handshake position rather than flat on the desk. So if you've ever dealt with wrist strain or carpal tunnel issues, this kind of design can make a real difference during long work sessions. Personally, I've had problems with just using normal mice like this, and this really does help. It makes a huge difference. Like I can't use a mouse without this, actually. You compare it to another popular mouse, the 𝗕𝗘𝗡𝗘𝗙 has this same handshake grip. And if you have any like wrist problems or any issues when you're using, just a normal mouse, just switching to this, it can already alleviate the pain in one day. So you really don't get fatigue when using this type of designed mouse. Okay, and then of course the LED screen. We can go ahead and turn this on. You can see. So it shows you your current DPI setting, battery level, and which connection mode you're on, all without needing to install any drivers or software. So really helpful. So this is really convenient because you always know exactly what's going on with the mouse at a glance. So there's no guessing when it's going to die, no wondering what DPI you're on. So here's also what's really cool about this mouse is the knob at the top. It lets you do things like zoom in and out, horizontal scrolling, volume adjustment, brightness, page up and down, even switching between desktops. So if you're doing design work in CAD or Photoshop, or you're working through complex spreadsheets, this can really speed things up. So that's honestly one of the better features about this. The screen, it being ergonomic, and just having this knob up top. And honestly, I was surprised by how many functions this thing has. You can cycle through different modes. There's probably a dozen different things that it can do. Okay, and then we look on the side of the mouse. We have 4 different buttons. And you can see we have a copy and paste buttons here, which is pretty awesome. I mean, you use these key commands all the time, so just having it on your mouse makes a huge difference. And it works exactly like the keyboard shortcuts. And this works for Mac and Windows, which is great. So this mouse not only is ergonomical, but it helps you speed up your workflow and be more productive, which is of course what you want with a mouse. One thing to note, though, it's positioned really close to your thumb where it naturally rests, so you might accidentally hit it, and it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Okay, and then these 2 buttons here, these are the forward and back buttons. So it's nice that you have these 4 functionalities, these 2 key commands that most people use quite often, just right on the mouse, easily accessible with your thumb. But keep in mind that none of these buttons are programmable. So all of these here, and these ones back here. So if you need a fully customizable mouse, you want to pick up a different one. This one has really just a preset set of functionality. Plus this right here, being able to scroll through the different settings as well that you want the scroll knob to have. So there is some customization with this here, just not on these other buttons. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and then we go to the front here, or the side, and we have the DPI button. So that's also really cool about this mouse. You don't see that on a lot of mice. So DPI meaning dots per inch. So just how far the cursor will move on the screen, and the higher the setting, the farther it will move. So it has 6 settings to go ahead and show you. It's at 1600 right now, 2400, 2800, 3200, 4000. 800, 1600, back to 2400. You can just experiment with that and see which one you like the best. It's just nice that you can change because, you know, for different tasks, you might want it to cover more real estate with your mouse movements. So DPI is different from the scrolling speed. DPI is hardware-based. Scrolling speed is software-based. So you can go, you know, for a low DPI for precision work like design, medium for general office tasks, or crank it up faster, you know, to 4000 for faster cursor movement. So this mouse does connect 3 different ways, which is really nice as well. So as you saw, we connected it through the 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection with the included USB dongle at the bottom. And it also has dual Bluetooth 5.0. So that means you can pair it to 3 devices like your work laptop, personal PC, and a tablet, and switch between them with a button press. So you can switch the modes by pressing the M button twice. So we're on the 2.4 gigahertz connection on my computer. We can switch it, double tap it, and then we go to Bluetooth 1, and then we have a look at my phone, and we can see the TF-VM01 BT1, that is the mouse. And so then we can go to Bluetooth 2, press it twice, goes to Bluetooth 2, and then we can see that it's no longer connected because we're on Bluetooth 2, which is exactly what we want. We go back to Bluetooth 1 just to show you. So 2.4 gigahertz back to my computer, then back to Bluetooth 1, and we can see it's connected again. So if you're someone who works across multiple devices, this is incredibly useful. So you're not constantly repairing or swapping dongles. It's compatible with Windows, Mac, laptops, desktops, tablets, pretty much anything you'd want to connect to. And I didn't notice any lag with the wireless connection either. It connected right away, as you saw, plug and play. Okay, and then let's look at the main menu here. So you can press down on the button and we can scroll through. So we can have the setting of this scroll knob be set to volume, page up and down, brightness, take a screenshot, zoom in and out, left, right, forward, backwards. Keep in mind that on Mac OS, the forward and back navigation buttons aren't compatible with it. So just keep that in mind for this. Then we have Alt Tab. So that's really cool that we can just customize that right here. Okay, and then the battery life. So this has a built-in 500 mAh lithium ion battery that charges via the USB-C. And for a mouse, that should get you a couple of weeks of regular use between charges. So you're not constantly plugging it in, which of course we all hate with any peripheral or anything for that matter. It also has an auto sleep mode to conserve power when you're not using it. So that's very handy. And if it does die while you're working, you can keep using it while it charges, which surprisingly, a lot of rechargeable mouses and mice don't have that feature, so that's nice that this has it. So you can just plug in the cable and keep going. Also, the button wake is instant, so it's ready, you know, when you are. Another thing, the buttons have a silent design. They're soft, tactile feedback without that loud clicking sound. So if you're working in a library late at night or in a shared space, this won't disturb anyone. Just do a quick sound test. I'll pull off my microphone so you can hear. So let's go ahead and add the 2.4 gigahertz connection so it fits in nicely right into this little hole on the bottom of the mouse. Okay, so what I like about this mouse is the ergonomic design actually works. My wrist definitely feels noticeably less strain on it during longer sessions. And like I said, the first time I used it, my wrist already felt better. And the LED screen and the control knob on top are actually useful. You don't see this on many other mice. And I also like the copy and paste buttons. They're really handy. I mean, you use those key commands all the time, whether you're on Mac and Windows, you're always copy and pasting something. And also this just having a really good battery life. Again, you know, normal use, you know, you can get a couple weeks out of this. So you don't have to worry about any disposable batteries and, you know, throwing off the weight of the mouse and just having to, you know, replace them all the time. It's also nice that they're quiet. You know, all the clicks, as you heard, they're really quiet, so you can work late at night without disturbing anyone. So what can be improved about this mouse? The buttons aren't programmable, so there's no software to customize what any of the buttons do, which does feel like a missed opportunity, especially with the Transformers branding about transformation. You would feel that it would have, you know, this customization. Also, the little bit softer clicks might not be for everyone. If you really need that strong tactile feedback, you want to look at another mouse. But for most people, you're not even going to really notice that much of a difference. So who is this mouse for? So if you deal with wrist fatigue or pain from long hours at your desk, this is designed to help with that. And the 57-degree tilt puts your hand in a more natural position. And at least for me, it has eliminated any of the pain that I have in my wrist. Also, this is great if you work across multiple devices. And you're someone who works across multiple devices throughout the day, like a work laptop and personal desktop. The 3-device connectivity on this thing is really useful, and switching between them is incredibly quick. Also, this could be good for people that do design work or work in spreadsheets a lot. You definitely appreciate the control knob for zooming in and horizontal scrolling. It's genuinely useful for that type of work. And remember, if you're a Mac user who relies heavily on the forward and back navigation buttons, those won't work on Mac OS. So in my opinion, this is definitely a mouse worth considering if you're dealing with wrist discomfort or you want something a little different from a standard mouse. The LED screen, the control knob, and the copy and paste buttons that you have, they're genuinely useful and not just gimmicks. And the multi-device connectivity is really convenient. It's not perfect. I wish the buttons were programmable. So if you're looking for an ergonomic mouse with some unique features, this is worth checking out.